What's up, guys? Daniel here with Woodland Acres. So for those of you that are here because of our Great Pyrenees, Betty and Bernard. Here's Bernard, and there's Betty, always behind there, always behind. For those of you that are here watching these videos, or hopefully have subscribed, or Betty and Bernard or Pyrenees, this video is for you. A little story time here, and kind of an update on the situation with my opinion on the dogs and their keeping them at home, the use of their e-collars, etc., etc. Okay, where do I begin? So today is Sunday, almost the end of May here in Kansas. Beautiful weather today, by the way. Today's Sunday. On Friday, I came out, I let the dogs out into the front area of our property. Now, the front area of our property, they do have their e-collars on them. It is still on. Okay, I'm just distracted right now because the dogs are here, and there are two deer running right there past our property. And if they see them, this video is about them. On Friday, I let these dogs out. They stay mostly contained in our area because the e-collar is still on them right now. I do have a zap on them because I'm in the process of training them again to keep them at in our property. In the back area where our pasture is at, where the cows are at, they've got hot wire fence. They've also got the e-collar that I have lined up there, and they also have the cows, the calves that they're supposed to protect. And everybody says, well, if they have livestock, they won't roam, they won't run away, they'll stay nearby. Well, they've been with the cows for 2 months or so now. So now I think I have the answer to all of those potential solutions to keeping these Great Pyrenees home. Friday, back to my story. I let me turn it around. You guys don't want to see me. You guys want to see Benny and Bernard. Why does Bernard look so worn out? Well, he was looking a little worn out. On Friday, I let them out to hang around the front area of our property where they normally do just hang out. No coyotes in sight, nothing going on. It was a bit warm, so normally if it's warm and hot, these guys don't really do a whole lot because they just want to hang out where it's nice and comfortable at home. Well, my wife was walking outside with them, and they just casually, even with the e-collar on them, they just casually walked out of their boundary. Like it was nothing. They weren't going after anything. They weren't chasing anything this time. Normally they're chasing after coyotes. That's normally what they're going after, or they see something. In this case, it was middle of the day. It was like 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, middle of the day, and they just left. And normally they come back. The last time they did this, they came back within the hour. I was actually quite impressed. But Friday night came around, they were not back. We were out calling them, looking for them. They did not come back. Yesterday, I was getting a bit worried. We actually had one of our cops. It seems like everybody knows these are our dogs because they've always roamed our property and cars driving by. And one of the officers showed up. He said, "Hey, we just saw your dogs over there just north of our place." And then we had another lady come by, and she said, "Yeah, your dogs, we saw your dogs up that way." So yeah, so we went out, no sight of them. And keep in mind, there's some industrial area up there, residential area south of us, pretty much residential all around us. Bernard, stay here. But there's also a lot of open farmland, wooded areas, etc. So I drove around yesterday. My concerns with them being gone overnight, being gone for over a day, my concerns naturally was that, maybe they got hit by a car. That was kind of our worst fear, because there's a highway that's west of us, not too far away, about half mile or so down. But I drove all the area roads that there were some sightings of them. Drove all the roads, didn't see any bodies, no white carcasses laying on the side of the road. So I didn't think that they got hit by a car. My next thought was that, well, they really ventured far away, but they never, the longest they've ever been gone was maybe like half a day, okay? So we come Saturday night, this is, mind you, about a day and a half at this point, a little over a day and a half, and no sound of them, no sight of them, Saturday night. So I was beginning, and now here's the other thing. We checked, social media postings. I checked Craigslist, places where you would, if somebody found them, they would post, on these apps. People seem to be pretty good about posting lost dogs, found dogs, etc. And they have done that for us in the past. There were no postings whatsoever. So my next thought, and I was talking to my wife, I was like, well, I don't think they got hit by a car. I don't think they got hit by a train. I do want to believe that these dogs, especially Bernard, this is Bernard, I do want to believe he's much smarter than that. We've been seeing them when they're on the road. They actually, it's funny, they walk on the side of the road. I don't know how they've learned that. They don't walk in the middle of the road. They walk on the side of the road. Yeah, I didn't think they got hit. Didn't think they got injured. My wife was wondering if maybe they got attacked by a group of coyotes. It's possible, but there's two of them. There's Betty and Bernard. They're always together, even when they're out. I said it was highly unlikely that they got attacked. They could have gone after coyotes. They could have gone after, most likely they were out on an adventure because they probably were coming across all sorts of animals and they were going after them. But it was highly, I'd say, unlikely that they would have gotten attacked by coyotes and gotten killed. We don't have mountain lions officially in the area, although there have been sightings. That, of course, is a possibility, but that would be a rare, very rare occurrence if that happened. So ultimately, I thought, well, these are good-looking dogs, in my opinion, of course. A lot of farms nearby. They do only have their e-collar on them. They don't have a tag on them, but they are microchipped. And the only way the microchip works is if somebody takes them to the vet and scans them, and they can find out where the owners. Well, my thought was that, well, somebody found them, saw that these were good-looking dogs, and just decided to keep them. That's really what I thought. Of course, we don't know. We'll never know. But this was, of course, so they left on Friday. Saturday night, yesterday, we were really concerned. So at this point, we're approaching really 2 days here. Early this morning, I was looking on the camera, middle of the night, 1, 2 in the morning. There's still no sight, no sound of them. I went outside, nothing. This morning, I was laying in bed, and my son, my 8-year-old son, said. He comes in our room, he says, Betty's laying in our driveway. So naturally we kind of all get up and we're like, okay, what the heck? They're back. Our answers to our questions of whether something bad happened to them those were answered because they were back. Bernard was back as well. I reviewed the camera, and they both. It's funny when they come back, they go. Our entire property is lined with the fence, the e-fence, and when they came back, they were reluctant as usual to come back in. They were kind of standing right across the boundary of the fence, and then just jetted right across. So obviously they know that the collar works. They do get the zap. It's just not as taking the zap to go out on an adventure is more worth it than and there's no reluctance for them to do that, it seems, anymore. But coming in and taking the zap to come back home, there's still a little bit of reluctance for them to do that. So our questions are answered. Nothing bad happened to them. They're not injured. They're okay. As I'm looking at them here, I actually see a tick on Bernard. I actually put some frontline on him the other day, and apparently it's not. Can you get some pliers, Bubs? Get some needle. Get some pliers over there. That's
oh my god.
Okay, sorry, disruption there with story time. Anyways, so I knew these collars, so they've been in contact with someone because this collar was taken off and removed, and I can tell. I know how these collars are put on, and it's upside down from the way I normally place it. So they were in contact with someone. I don't know who, obviously, but it now makes me wonder why they didn't come home after even just a day. Betty's collar's still there. Yeah, where's your collar? Yeah, your collar's still there. Nobody messed with yours. Oh yeah, they did. Okay, so they're in contact with someone. We don't know who or where, but here's my suspicion now. They would have come home, my belief is they would have come home on their own after that day or so. I think somebody found them. This is kind of funny. I think somebody found them, decided to keep them or hang on to them, maybe with good intentions. And either they weren't able to keep them contained because they are escape artists, or they had their first night or two with them and realized that Betty and Bernard, they bark a hell of a lot, especially at night. They're nocturnal, you have to keep that in mind. And even on our property, I mean, their job as Great Pyrenees is to bark a lot. And so that's just my theory. But either they were held by someone. Like I said, maybe they were holding on, and the people that found them maybe were waiting to find the owners. Or maybe they had bad intentions and were going to plan to keep these dogs. Who knows? But you know, they're good-looking dogs, and there are people out there with, once again, bad intentions. I don't know. I'm just jumping to all sorts of conclusions. But that's now my theory, is that they either escaped from where they were being held, or the people that were holding on to them couldn't stand their barking, and so maybe let them go. So I don't know. Either way, we're glad that they're back this morning, Sunday morning. They are both pooped, as you can imagine. So Betty hanging out there, Bernard hanging out there. All of our fears and worries about them are we're relieved they're home. But here's the answer to my question now on my opinion on the use of e-collars. I've been a huge proponent of them, the use of them, because we've had the e-collars on them ever since they were about a year old. They never really roamed when they were puppies. And there's Bernard. He hears you. Sometimes when he hears these side-by-sides get driving by, he'll bark. He'll see hot air balloons and bark. Or hear a plane, that's probably what it is, and bark. But my opinion, I was a huge proponent of these e-collars. I've changed my tune. This is specifically for Great Pyrenees, by the way. That's what we have. They probably work really well on other dogs that aren't so stubborn, other dogs that have a lower pain tolerance. But Betty and Bernard, especially Bernard, their pain tolerance is just so high. Doing what they're supposed to do, you don't blame them. But the e-collars are just not the solution anymore for us. Of course, you know, we'll still use them. I'll still continue to train them. But if you're considering the use of an e-collar to keep the Great Pyrenees, your Great Pyrenees home, they worked for us. It worked on Betty and Bernard for the first several years, 2 years, first 2 years, 3 years. But train's coming, so I got to move here. But it's not a good long-term solution. I used to think it was. I wanted to believe that it was. But we've just, even with the consistent training, rewarding system that we had, the bottom line is it is nothing more. The e-collar is nothing more than just a just a mental barrier for them, meaning they're smart enough, and most dogs are probably smart enough to realize, well, once they get out that one time, they take a temporary zap, you know, discomfort for just a few seconds, if not maybe just half a second, depending on how quick they get out. And then once they're out, they know, oh well, that zap is gone. There's no zap outside of the boundary. Once they get a taste of that, it's game over. A dog like this, they'll know that, and they'll just continue to do it. And that was in our situation the case. And it all started with them, with their drive for going after these coyotes. That's how it all began. That drive was so strong. That first time they went out, they got zapped, but hey, they realized they were free. They were able to go after the coyotes, and then it just kept going. It just kept happening. Now it got better. At times it got better, but now my opinion of that is that they just didn't care as much at that time to go after the coyotes or to do whatever. So bottom line, we can no longer rely on the e-collars alone for keeping them contained. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of folks said that if we got livestock and kept them with the livestock, they would learn to stay close by to protect. We got the bottle calves mostly to give Betty and Bernard a job to do, right? And they've been with the bottle calves from day one. We kept them in with the cows for day one for a few weeks, and they definitely showed some caring guardian instincts when they were around the cows, as far as I can tell. But was that enough to keep them from running off? Not in our case, because the cows had to go 2 nights unprotected without Betty and Bernard. Now that could have been because they were held captive, I don't know. But if the argument is that, oh well, if you have livestock, they'll stay nearby. Well, I don't know. It was probably too late in our case because they weren't raised with the cows since they were puppies. But it wasn't enough. Having the cows around wasn't enough to keep them from just even running off in the first place. The hot wire fence does seem to work, because they definitely don't like that. They've been zapped twice by the hot wire fence. So here's kind of a shot of the pasture where they do. I'll have to keep them back here going forward. This is pretty much where they stay most of the time. Okay, there's a hot wire fence. The e-collar fence also does run along here. So they've not only got the e-collar fence to deal with here, but they've got the hot wire fence as well that they've got to overcome. And so, and then the cows are back there grazing. So back here, ever since they've been back here, they have not made any attempts, as far as we can tell, to get out. And that could just simply be the hot wire fence, or it could be because it's a combination of having the hot wire fence and regular fencing that they have to get through, along with knowing that if they approach it, they will still get the zap of the collar. So combined with all that, maybe that's what's keeping them contained. But the bottom line is, just as my opinion once again has changed, e-collars alone, not going to cut it. Not cutting it for us. As much as I wanted to believe it, as much as I thought that training and retraining and everything would work, simply just not going to work for you Great Pyrenees. Didn't work for us. So I know, long drawn out story, but kind of a little ongoing discussion that I've just kind of documented with some of these YouTube videos. So this was hopefully my final talk on the use of collars and keeping these dogs contained. That's it. End of story. My final answer is e-collars will not work on your Great Pyrenees. They will at first, but they eventually won't. So that's it for now. I've got to go mow the lawn. Yeah, tend to the garden, so I'll do a video on all that other stuff here shortly. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments, any questions, be sure to let me know. Be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, even though I'm falling behind on my videos. I've got some more videos to edit and post, but I got a whole list of other things that I'm trying to tackle as well. But the more subscribers I get, the more comments I get. Of course, that's always very encouraging. So, yeah, baby.
Chicks.
Yeah. Oh, I got some baby Keats, guinea Keats too, but I got to get that video up as well. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.